Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced this morning that Canada will be reducing the number of temporary foreign workers, or TFWs, that are allowed in the country, and particularly in low-wage jobs. And this comes after a significant increase in TFWs after the government changed the rules. They relaxed the restrictions during the post-COVID labor shortage that we saw.
2 years ago, in the aftermath of the pandemic and facing severe labor shortages, we adjusted the program for temporary foreign workers. That's what the business community needed. That's what the business community was asking for. And at that moment in time, those changes helped. They helped the economy, and they helped businesses make it through a challenging moment in our economic recovery.
There's no doubt in my mind that the surge of newcomers to Canada here has contributed to the rising unemployment rates, particularly obviously amongst immigrants, but also amongst the younger people, the youth population. These new measures, they're going to prevent employers in regions with high unemployment, so they're classifying that as 6% or more, from hiring the lower wage TFWs, except in certain sectors. They're making exceptions for agriculture, food processing, construction, and healthcare. Also, companies are now going to be restricted from hiring more than 10% of their workforce through the TFW program. The government also, in this step, has shortened TFW contracts from 2 years currently to 1 year. Now, in his comments, Trudeau suggested that the broader changes to Canada's immigration system might be on the horizon, particularly in light of the Bank of Canada's report that unemployment rate is amongst newcomers is currently at 11.6%. He says that the government will be reviewing the immigration program in more detail, the levels of the program this fall, and that could lead to further adjustments in the number of permanent residents that are admitted. Here's what he had to say.
So I asked my minister to work on this over the summer, and we are taking action. We are tightening the rules and restricting eligibility to reduce the number of low-wage temporary foreign workers in Canada, with exceptions in certain industries like healthcare, construction, and food security. We'll also be looking at changes to the high-wage stream of the program as part of the minister's expedited 90-day review. So to those who would complain about worker shortages, here's my message. There is no better time to hire and invest in Canadian workers.
So no doubt, it sure looks like there will be some significant changes coming over the next coming months. Trudeau did emphasize the importance of immigration being done right. And he says this is to balance and ensure that Canada remains supportive of immigration, but at the same time is responsible in how these newcomers are integrated into our country. Prime Minister Trudeau also announced this morning that Canada will be imposing a 100% punitive tariff on electric vehicles, EVs, that are made in China. And this starts October 1st, as well as a 25% surtax on imports of Chinese steel and aluminum products, that effective on October the 15th.
Shortly, we will be introducing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles and a 25% tariff on Chinese steel and aluminum. Because of our government's choices and the hard work of hundreds of thousands of Canadian auto workers, we are transforming Canada's automotive sector to be a global leader in building the vehicles of tomorrow. But actors like China have chosen to give themselves an unfair advantage in the global marketplace, compromising the security of our critical industries and displacing dedicated Canadian autos and metal workers. So we're taking action to address that.
So this move is similar to the one that they've made down in the U.S., and these are aimed at countering what's seen as unfair competition from Chinese vehicles that benefit from the heavy state subsidies that they receive there. Trudeau was speaking at a federal cabinet retreat in Halifax. He emphasized that this measure is crucial to level the playing field for Canadian workers. He said, actors like China have chosen to give themselves an unfair advantage in the global marketplace, compromising the security of our critical industries and displacing dedicated Canadian auto and metal workers. This new tariff will target a wide range of vehicles, including electric and hybrid passenger vehicles, trucks, buses, and delivery vans. It will also allow Canada's emerging EV industry to better compete both domestically and internationally. Again, these actions reflect Canada's strategy to protect its industries from what the government views as unfair trade practices by China. You can call me cynical. I can't help but notice that both of these decisions we just talked about are coming just ahead of a federal election next October. Less than a week ago, Harvest ETFs launched its high income shares ETFs. Amazon, Microsoft, Eli Lilly, Nvidia. These are some of the largest and the most widely held stocks out there on the market. While the Harvest high income shares, this allows you to access these core US companies overlaid with Harvest established active covered call strategy. And the aim there is to deliver high income every month. Some of the highlights of this new offering, there's stocks Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, Eli Lilly. There's long-term growth potential by participating in these leading businesses with that strong growth prospects. You also enjoy these attractive tax-efficient cash distributions every month, supported by that cover call writing program. The key benefits, well, they come as a Canadian trust unit, so there's tax-efficient income either in Canadian dollars or US dollars, whichever you prefer. They are also available in an enhanced series, which has a 25% leverage overlay as well. Now, you can learn more by visiting harvestetfs.com to see how they can assist you in achieving your financial goals. The vote this week is neck and neck. It's exactly 50% this morning in today's poll question. What will most influence economic conditions in the coming months? Actions by central banks or other external factors, geopolitical events, global economic trends, the US election. I will put a link here to Saturday's newsletter. You can weigh in with your thoughts. I publish the final results in every weekend's edition. Now, if you're not already subscribed to Pulse, go ahead, give it a try. My goal is simple. I just want to provide a sort of a tight and informative recap to the most important stories of the week. I'm sure you'll find it valuable. Click on the QR code here to join the crowd. Good news in the railway industry and for the economy as a whole. The rail services at both CNR and CP Kansas City, they resumed this morning following the end of a work stoppage that disrupted freight and commuter traffic across her country. The shutdown, which began last Thursday, this was a result of a contract dispute between the two rail companies and the Teamsters Union. It resulted in a lockout of around 9,000 workers. Now, the Canada Industrial Relations Board, the CIRB, intervened on Saturday. It ordered both companies and their workers to return to operations at 12:01 a.m. Eastern on Monday. This decision now allows the rail services to restart, but CPKC, they've warned it could take several weeks for the network to fully recover, with additional time needed for supply chains to stabilize. The work stoppage itself, it had significant impacts on freight traffic nationwide, disrupted commuter lines in major cities like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. Now, the Teamsters Canada Rail Conference president issued a statement on Saturday voicing strong opposition to the CIRB's ruling, announced there are plans to appeal the decision in court. CPKC acknowledged that there are significant challenges ahead. They say that they anticipate several more weeks before the railway network recovers. I'm sure a lot of you watching have plans to fly with Air Canada over the coming weeks and months, and this story might have an impact on you. Air Canada pilots, which are represented by the Airline Pilots Association, ALPA, they have voted overwhelming in favor of a strike mandate, which confirms that they are ready to walk off the job if the current negotiations are going through now with the airline fail. Now, in the lead up to a potential strike, pilots are going to be participating in a nationwide informational picket tomorrow at major airports across the country. Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Winnipeg are included. And the demonstrations here, they're going to be basically intended to raise awareness. They're not going to disrupt flights now because the pilots that are participating will be off duty. Now, the pilots are pushing for some major updates to their 2014 contracts. They're including higher wages, improved retirement benefits, and enhancement to the overall quality of life. Negotiations between ALPA and Air Canada, they've been ongoing since June of last year, so over a year now, with private mediation sessions earlier this year. The current federal conciliation process is set to end today. And after that, there will be a 21-day cooling off period, and that starts effective tomorrow. Now, if no agreement is reached by mid-September, pilots will be legally able to strike. Now, Charlene Hudy, she's the chair of the Air Canada ALPA Master Executive Council. That's quite the title. She emphasized the unity and determination of the pilots. Here's what she had to say in an interview with CTV News.
Today, the Air Canada pilots actually authorized the leadership of their union to exercise our right under the code, strike action should talks come to that. 98% of Air Canada pilots voted, and 98% of the pilots I represent said they're willing to strike.
So with that 98% vote, the pilots have sent this overwhelming message that they are resolved, they're unified, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get the contract that they have earned. Air Canada has responded to the strike mandate. They acknowledged that it is a normal step in the negotiation process. They restated their commitment to reaching fair and equitable agreement without disrupting operations. Don't forget to vote on this week's poll question. I will put a link right here. You can click on, it'll take you there, and you can weigh in with your thoughts. Thanks as always for watching. We'll see you in the next video.